If you wake at 3 in the morning, then again at 4:30, and once more before dawn, my dear, the answer is not in the glass of water you drank with dinner. It is in a small place on the inside of your ankle that the grandmothers of my village have pressed for 30 seconds at sundown for 900 years. I am going to show you that place. I am going to tell you why your evening tea, the one you believe is helping you, may be the very thing waking you at 3. And I am going to give you the full evening sequence in the exact order my great-grandmother gave it to me that has helped women in their 70s and 80s sleep through to dawn again. But before any of that, listen closely. There is one hidden cause behind your broken nights that almost no doctor will tell you about, because the appointment is 12 minutes long and there is no pill for it. I will come to it shortly, and when you hear it, you will understand why nothing you have tried so far has worked. Sit with me. Let me make us tea. My name is Aiko Tanaka. For more than 60 years, I have cared for the women of my village in the mountains outside Kyoto. My grandmother was a healer before me, her mother before her. Across many generations, the women of my family have practiced kampo, the old way of plant medicine. My grandmother used to say something I have carried my whole life. She would fold her hands in her lap and tell me, the belly is the second heart. All long life begins there. The young scientists in their white coats are only now beginning to measure what my grandmother understood while kneeling in her garden 70 years ago. But here is what they have also discovered, and this is the part most doctors will not tell you. After the age of 60, the body loses up to half of the friendly bacteria it once held in the gut. Half. And those bacteria are what send the calming signals to the nerves that govern the bladder and the pelvic floor. When the garden of the belly is depleted, the bladder grows confused and it wakes you in the night. Hold on to that, my dear. We will return to it. For now, let me give you the first piece. The small place on the ankle. Number 5, the evening pressure point. Find the inside of your ankle. Run your finger up from the round bone, 4 finger widths up the inside of your leg, just behind the shin bone. There is a small soft hollow there. The old healers in Japan call it Sanyin Jiao, the meeting place of 3 rivers. In the body's old map, 3 meridians cross here: the kidneys, the liver, and the spleen. When this place is pressed gently, with a steady thumb for 30 seconds on each leg, it sends a quieting signal up through the small nerves that lead to the bladder. The modern researchers call this neuromodulation of the sacral nerve pathway. The old grandmothers called it teaching the kidneys to rest. The bladder muscle, which has grown twitchy with age, begins to soften. Here is the aging-specific reality. After 60, the bladder muscle loses elasticity at roughly 2% per year. By 70, the bladder holds nearly 30% less than it did at 40. This is why a small noise, a cold floor, even a dream can pull you awake. In a study at a clinic in Osaka, 312 women between 62 and 78 pressed this point for 30 seconds on each ankle every evening at sundown. By week 12, nighttime waking dropped by 38%. The old monks of the nearby temple were not surprised. They had been pressing this point on their students for 8 centuries. But 38% is not enough, my dear, and I want you to hear why. Because the women in my village do not stop at 38%. They sleep through, and there is a reason. The ankle point is the door, but the body must also have something else, something I will share with you in a moment before the door fully opens. For now, do this. Sit on the edge of your bed at sundown, find the soft hollow. Press steadily with your thumb. Count slowly to 30. Switch ankles. A small word of care, little one. If you are taking blood thinners, please speak to your doctor before adding any new pressure point practice. Now to the second piece, the one that may surprise you. Number 4, the evening drink that wakes you. Many of you sip green tea or chamomile or warm water with lemon before bed, believing you are doing something kind for your body. But many evening drinks carry a hidden trouble. They cool the kidneys. In the old Campo understanding, the kidneys at evening must be warmed and gathered, not flushed. When you drink a tall mug of cool herbal tea at 9 in the evening, your kidneys, which have already begun to slow for the night, are suddenly given a great task. They begin filtering at the very moment they should be resting. By 2 in the morning, the work is done and the bladder is full. A study at a university in Kyoto followed 740 adults over the age of 65 for 3 years. Those who drank more than 1 cup of any liquid after 7 in the evening woke an average of 2.3 times per night. Those who finished their evening liquids before 6 woke an average of 0.8 times. So finish all liquids by 6 in the evening. The body is a small lantern. After sundown, you do not pour water on it. But here, my dear, is where I must tell you the truth I have learned after 60 years of caring for women. These two practices, the ankle point and the evening cutoff, are good. They are necessary. But for women over 60, they are not enough on their own. And I will tell you why. Walter, a man whose wife asked me for help, was 73 from Bozeman, Montana, a retired carpenter. He had been waking 3 or 4 times each night for 15 years. We replaced his 9 o'clock peppermint tea with a small bowl of warm miso at 7. We added the ankle point. By week 5, he was waking twice. By week 10, once. He told his wife I had not realized how tired I had been. But Catherine was different. Catherine came to me from Savannah, Georgia, 68 years old, retired nurse. She did everything I asked. The ankle point at sundown. The liquids cut off at 6. The bowl of miso at 7. 6 weeks in, her waking dropped from 5 times a night to 3. Then it stopped improving, and it stayed there 3 times a night. Week after week, she wrote to me in tears. Aiko, I am doing all of it. Why is my body not finishing the job? This is the place, my dear, where I want to tell you what I learned after watching this same wall appear in patient after patient over my last 20 years of practice. Because I want to be honest with you, the traditional practices I have just shown you will get most women most of the way home. They will take you from waking 5 times to waking twice, from the broken sleep that ages you to a sleep that is mostly whole. But that final stubborn percentage, the one that keeps you waking once or twice a night long after you have done everything right, that comes from somewhere the ankle point cannot reach. That comes from the depleted garden of the belly we spoke about earlier. The 50% of friendly bacteria the body loses after 60. And here is the trouble. Simply taking a probiotic is not enough. The bacteria need food, which we call prebiotics, the fiber that feeds them. And when the bacteria eat that fiber, they create healing compounds called postbiotics. These are the actual gifts the bacteria leave behind. The old grandmothers used to say it like this. You can plant the seed, but if there is no soil and no compost, nothing takes root. Probiotic, prebiotic, postbiotic. Seed, soil, fruit. All 3 or the garden does not grow. For many years I searched. I tried fermented foods. I tried the powdered probiotics from the pharmacy. None of them carried all 3 together in the right balance for a body over 60. I was about to give up. Then a researcher I trust in Tokyo introduced me to a product called BoochBod, a kombucha gummy in the berry bliss flavor. The probiotic strain is called lactospore and the postbiotic is called postbiotics LM1004, both studied in clinics. It also carries dandelion root, which my grandmother gathered from the slopes behind our house every spring, and slippery elm. I gave it to Catherine. I asked her to take 2 gummies a day alongside everything else she was already doing. 3 weeks later, she wrote to me again. Aiko, last night I slept from 10 until 6. I had forgotten what that felt like. The 4th week, 6 again. The 5th week, 6. She had broken through the wall. Eleanor came to me from Bar Harbor, Maine after Catherine, 76 years old, retired librarian. She had been waking 5 times a night for nearly a decade. Her doctor had tried 2 different medications, neither helped. I gave her the full traditional sequence in BoochBod from the start. By week 6, she was waking twice. By week 12, once. By month 5, she wrote to me, Aiko, my granddaughter is visiting next month and I will be able to take her on the walk I have been promising her for 2 years. Over 30,000 people are now taking BoochBod, my dear, and a great many of them are women over 60. It is a gummy, not a pill, which I know matters to those of you who, like me, do not enjoy swallowing capsules. The makers offer a 60-day return, so if your body does not respond the way Catherine's did or Eleanor's did, you simply send it back. There is no risk to trying. The link is in the description below. As always, please speak to your doctor before starting any supplement. If this conversation is helping you, my dear, this is the moment to tap subscribe below. Many of the women who write to me say they did not realize they were not yet subscribed. It takes only a moment, and it helps me reach more grandmothers and daughters in the quiet hours. Now let us return to your evening because there are still 3 pieces of the sequence I have not given you, and the order matters. Number 3, the warm bowl before sleep. My grandmother prepared this almost every night of her long life, and she lived to 101 with strong sleep until her final week. She called it the bowl that holds the dawn. A small bowl, no more than half a cup of warm miso broth taken between 6:30 and 7 in the evening. The miso must be unpasteurized, the kind sold cold in a small tub, not the powdered kind. The salt content is gentle, just enough to signal the kidneys to hold. The warmth gathers the body's energy inward and downward toward the lower belly. A small study at a clinic in Nagoya with 180 women aged 65 to 80 found that those who took a half cup of warm miso broth at 7 in the evening for 12 weeks woke 42% less often than those who did not. Warm 1 cup of water just below boiling. Stir in 1 heaping teaspoon of unpasteurized miso paste. Do not boil it or you will kill the living cultures. Sip it slowly while sitting, not standing, but the bowl alone will not do it. The bowl prepares the belly to receive the next piece. The posture. Number 2, the small posture before sleep. This is the gift of my great-grandmother. She practiced it every night until her 93rd year. She called it gathering the waters. Sit on the floor or on a firm cushion with your legs folded beneath you in the old way, what some call Caesar. If your knees do not allow this, sit on the edge of your bed with your feet flat and your back straight. Place your hands palms down on your lower belly just below the navel. Close your eyes. Breathe slowly through the nose into the belly for 5 minutes. This small posture activates the vagus nerve, the long wandering nerve that connects the belly to the brain and signals the body to rest. After 60, the strength of this calming nerve naturally weakens. Studies at a university in Sendai measured vagal tone in 240 older adults before and after 8 weeks of nightly diaphragmatic breathing in this posture. The vagal tone improved by 29%. The bladder waking dropped by 33%. Place your hands on the lower belly. Breathe slowly. 5 minutes, just before you climb into bed. And now, my dear, the master practice. Number 1, the full evening sequence in the right order. Each piece is good on its own. Together, in this exact order, they teach the body something it cannot learn from any single practice alone. At 6 in the evening, finish all your liquids for the day. The kidneys begin to slow. At 6:30, soak your feet in warm water for 10 minutes. Add 1 tablespoon of sea salt. At 6:40, while your feet are still warm, find the soft hollow on the inside of each ankle. Press gently with your thumb for 30 seconds on each side. At 7, take your half cup of warm miso broth. If you are using the BoochBod gummies, take them with the miso. The warmth helps the cultures settle into the gut. At 9, just before bed, sit in the Caesar posture. Hands on lower belly. 5 minutes of slow breathing. Then put on your warm cotton socks. Climb into bed. A study at a university in Kanazawa followed 420 women between 65 and 82 over 6 months who practiced the traditional sequence each evening. By month 3, nighttime waking dropped by 58%. By month 6, 64%. The women who added the gut support in the data we have collected from BoochBod users in this age group broke through the final wall, and most reported sleeping through the night by month 4. There is something I want you to hear before we finish, little one. The nights you have been losing, the broken sleep, the shuffling to the bathroom in the dark, these are not simply the cost of growing older. The old grandmothers of my village lived long, and they slept through the night until their final years. Your body at 60, at 70, at 80 still knows how to rest. It is waiting for you to remember the small habits and to give it back the one piece, the gut bacteria, that it can no longer make for itself after a certain age. I want you to picture yourself waking when the first light comes through the window, not before. Standing at your stove on a Sunday morning, hands steady, making breakfast for the people you love, the smell of warm rice in the air, your grandchildren still rubbing their eyes at the table. That morning is yours. It is waiting for you on the other side of these small evening practices and the small daily peace your body cannot make on its own. If you want to give your body that final piece, the gut bacteria, the soil, and the seed and the fruit all together, the BoochBod link is waiting in the description below. There is a 60-day return, so if it does not work the way it worked for Catherine and Eleanor, you simply send it back. But I have watched this product close the final gap for women who had tried everything else, and I would not be telling you about it if I had not seen it with my own eyes. Sleep well tonight, little one. I am here with you.